It is the Riot Podcast. Holy Wednesday, Batman.
Yay. Hopefully everybody's having a good week so far. I mean, it is only Wednesday, but we're trucking along.
Stuff you're going to hear today: shower coffee, Mulan, designer face masks, being mean to people more than once.
Yeah, there's a couple of stories about that, so let's listen.
Masks. Oh, Nikki, the Kim Jong Un story.
Do you think that's your favorite?
No, my favorite is the Chicken McNuggets story.
When we talk about chicken nuggets and something terrible that if it's real, it's just, I don't know, it's just really bad.
It's not the story. It's how it affects Nikki that I really enjoy.
I don't know why. It just hit me really, really wrong.
It hit you hard.
It did.
In a way
harder
that
than the Kim Jong Un one did.
I really enjoyed how hard it hit you.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I hope it hits you guys the same way, or maybe you get to respond like Obi did.
So we hear about a second grader who shut down his class, or her class actually, with COVID-19, judging a man by his shoes, and you know what? I was going to say. We talked about it in the show, but I didn't put it in the podcast, the bombing in Beirut, mostly because the news around that is changing so fast.
Sure, with
by the time,
specific details.
Yeah, like by the time this podcast gets to you in 3 or 4 hours, like who knows what's going to be in the news about that. So I just left it out. But if you're wondering, we talked about it on the show.
Man, that was just
it's wild.
Terrible to see. And I've never, like I said on air, I don't think I've ever seen... You know, like it happened now, not like a look back when a bomb would go off or something, right. Or they were doing testing and stuff. But to see something in such a dense area with people and shipping and stuff, it's just when you look at it, you're like, that's not real. And you're like, wait, that is real. And it was just something shocking to see. So, yeah,
the shock wave of the explosion was just crazy. Like just seeing it was wild. So lots going on there, but I did not put that in the podcast.
Well, if there's more details that are more concrete, then we'll obviously put them in there tomorrow.
Yeah. So you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thanks
Nikki
for
and
listening to the podcast today.
Gonna go do our thing.
Yeah, let's go do some other work.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Woo. Yay, bye everybody.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Morning, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
The important thing is the coffee's on right now.
So that should really make for a better couple of minutes.
That's I think probably the most important
or however
thing.
Long it takes to get it ready and get it in you.
I mean, it's brewing.
Didn't you just have don't you have a morning coffee coming in?
The pre-coffee?
Yeah, you have a pre-coffee.
I was running a little late today.
We had no pre-game?
No, there's been no pre-game. Yeah, it's so funny. It just depends on the day. Who the heck knows why your body does what it does? I'm sure I could probably trace it back to yesterday I ate something that dropped my this, that raised my that, or whatever. But for some reason, when I got in the shower today, it was just like, oh, it's so nice here.
Oh, we lost track of time.
I couldn't. And I mean, I was basically solving all my life's problems with my good friend, hot water. We were just wandering to and fro
a meeting
about my life, thinking through things, and then at the same time wondering about other things. It was a big morning meeting.
Sure,
it was
big process.
Yeah.
So you didn't have your pre-coffee, but now that means the station coffee is even more important.
Yeah, and I mean, it was one of those things where I feel like hot water had a lot to say, so he talked long.
Why don't you just bring in the coffee into the shower?
I should.
Just attach it to the shower head or something. It's brewing while it's there, and I'm sure it's good for your body, like your skin.
That actually is a great idea.
There must be something that goes in the shower.
Because what's the thing? It got to be the internet thing for a while, the shower beer.
Yeah.
What about the shower coffee?
I'm sure there's a coffee pot that works somehow.
Oh my gosh.
You can get those attachments for the shower head that have minerals and stuff in it. You could just put coffee beans in there.
I love where this is going.
If the water's hot enough.
Who says you can't have, a coffee pot in the bathroom? Just put it right in there. Very
I've
big deal.
seen many people have that. Actually, I see a lot of people make it their nightstand. So, like next to the bed, they have a little coffee section.
Really?
Yeah. So that way, when they set it up, they wake up, and it's all right there. Even a little mini fridge.
That's fascinating.
So how big do you want to make this?
How far am I willing to go?
It's your walk. So how much do you want to do this?
I saw somebody, this was a friend's dad, who he had a computer like monitor swivel arm so that when he woke up, he just
right away?
Yeah.
Right into it?
He was just on it right away.
Okay.
He was way into stock trading or whatever. And so it was just
well, that kind of makes sense then.
You couldn't have a second without whatever. This was pre-tablet.
I think this is all what we're saying is passion, So if you're passionate about something,
I can't muster any of that in the morning.
You're willing to get right up and get right to it.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Nikki, have you decided on what your back-to-school mask is going to be yet?
No, but, we do have... Actually, I have. We have the wonderful RadioU official face mask, which you can check out at shop.radiou.com.
No, obviously.
That's the number one choice.
Obviously, but what I'm starting to want to do is supplement that because I
you
do
need a collection.
I do have one of those. I do. And I was thinking, but I got to have something in rotation.
Sure.
Right? Because you aren't going to be able to. I mean, I suppose you could have one.
No, you're supposed to
wash it. But I don't think you're supposed to machine wash it. You can hand wash it.
Yeah, so you could do that each night. That seems a bit impractical, which is why you're supposed to have several face masks in rotation.
Well, that's kind of where I was with the whole idea of getting a second face mask. So that way I could, rotate my face mask.
What are you looking at?
Well, just a few different ones. Here's one that has, actually, I like this one a lot. It's called Moonlight Buddies. It's got Totoro, Pikachu, Sailor Moon,
all the buddies.
a bunch of buddies. Here's a Batman one. I like this. Plant a tree. Yeah, I mean, there's good ones. Here's a Mario in a Pikachu outfit. I kind of like that one.
If anybody sees them, I want to get the one that looks like a little bear nose on the front, so it looks like a bear mouth.
Okay, I like that.
I think that would work well with my style.
Yeah. Okay.
My aesthetic.
What's this? There's a coffee one. I like the looks of that. But I'm just trying to decide. I'm also waiting for. I just feel like I'm gonna buy one. And
something will change.
Well, I think the thing that's going to change is there's going to be this thing at school where they're going to be like, okay, you're not allowed to wear cool face masks. You can only wear them if they're blank.
Technically, they are supposed to have the filter. So you want to look for a face mask that has the slit that you can put the filter in, or it's fine. It's one that you can't blow out a candle through, I think, is it?
Oh, my gosh.
You're supposed to test them? So
now I got to pay $15 to get this face mask, and I've got to bring it home. I got to light a candle.
Well, look at the reviews. That seems to be the best way to tell.
Okay. Well,
and if it's comfortable or not, because there are a lot of uncomfortable ones that are being sold.
Yeah.
Currently. So
well, what I'm thinking about right now is I'm looking at, we buy a lot of our T-shirts from T-Fury. I'm looking at their mask section.
Oh, they have some? I bet those are nice.
They actually have a lot of them. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But, I just know that what my mask looks like this fall is going to really communicate some things.
Is it?
And I want to make sure I'm ready.
Well, I just want to make sure it's the safe one first and then style second, I guess. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. So obviously RadioU face mask plus your second. It's kind of like you main the RadioU face mask and then you've got another character.
Could be good.
Yeah.
One day, a heroic time traveler will go back in time to make sure none of this ever happens. Until then, it's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Yes, there's important news. Yes, we'll get to it. But let's talk about what's impacting Nikki right now. And that is the Disney announcement yesterday.
Ooh, everybody was talking about that one.
Nikki has been waiting and hoping and praying and finger crossing and everything because she wants to see
Mulan. I wanted to see it back in, was it March or May? It was supposed to come out.
March.
I was all ready, and that was at the start of the quarantine stuff, and everybody was like, all right, 2 weeks. So I'm sure it'll just get pushed.
And then you can go see Mulan.
Yeah, and then it got pushed, and then they were like, let's not talk about it. And then it became, they actually used the word indefinitely. So that's why this was a bit surprising. They were going to push it till probably next year.
So now they're
changed their
saying
minds.
that they're like, no, we're going to put it on Disney Plus, but
a premium plus.
But just a heads up, as a Disney Plus subscriber, you're like, oh, hooray. No,
you have to.
No.
Well, so they did this with Onward back in the springtime as well. But I don't know the timing on this because they're a little vague.
Talking about the timing?
Yeah. So basically, it's September 4th. I think we've all now landed on it's for rental.
Yeah,
so it's not even to purchase it.
Okay.
How long is the rental? I don't know. How long is the rental process compared to when it'll just be available?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because with Onward, it was like 1 or 2 weeks that it was available for like a purchase.
Yeah.
And then you could just have it for free.
Well, as part of your Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah, exactly. Just as what you're already paying for. So they're saying that to rent it, it'll be $29 something. So basically $30.
Okay. Well, and if you're wondering, like, why September 4th, that is the Friday of Labor Day weekend.
That actually is a smarter time to pick.
Yeah, Labor Day is a really long weekend, or late this year, because Labor Day is the first Monday in September, which happens to be September 7th this year. So it's a little pushback.
So they're saying this does not affect Black Widow. They keep saying that. They just want to make sure that you're not confusing it. Because they still have that, I thought, in a November situation, or if
they're
not,
so.
For next year. But who knows? They're saying that this will help them gauge how well something could do for them. So it could affect future Disney releases as a model for them to go with. But remember, this makes movie theaters mad. So they're saying that this is not something they plan on doing all the time.
I will tell you right now, it's quote unquote special circumstances, but the idea that Disney now has their own streaming service and they have now shown they're willing to charge a high premium for you to see quote unquote new movies at home. This is a business model that completely eliminates the middleman and brings you factory direct Disney movies.
Now, for a premium price, but still.
Certainly.
So that was the big announcement from Disney yesterday that Mulan will be out on September 4th for $30 to rent it.
What do you think?
I will. I'm just desperate for something new.
You're just doing it?
I really wanted to watch that back then.
I know you did. I know.
Do you hear that?
You know what that was?
What? Disappointment?
Resignation.
Yeah, acceptance.
You own my money. Just tell me when you want it.
$30 is a lot for a rental, and no one's saying, like, is that 24 hours? Is it 2 days? Is it for the weekend? It's a trick, though. It's a holiday weekend. So if you get it on, like, a Friday, I bet you the rental's not still good on Monday.
We don't know. They haven't been specific yet.
What do you think? We know.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
Well, this is a sad, sad article from the people at the Takeout as being shared to me by Nikki, and they're commenting on Business Insider. They had an interview with McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczynski, and he said that breakfast prior to the pandemic was the part of their business that was really growing.
It was growing so much to where then they had offered breakfast items throughout the day. Like, people were hungry to go to eat a fast food breakfast. Wendy's had just come back out with their breakfast again.
Wendy's. Their breakfast is so good.
So there was a lot of focus on breakfast being a very important time for fast food locations.
And now they're saying that we're not getting breakfast fast food very much.
Not as many people are going. During the quarantine time, you ate at home. You weren't up yet. You weren't going to get something. And now if you're back to work or going back to classes, people got away from going to get their breakfast and just started making it at home. So breakfast at fast food is really down.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had, during that initial stay at home, I'm gaining weight period.
Yeah.
We were
essential workers, so we were still working every day.
I know. I'm just telling you, I went off the rails. I was like, man, I was hitting Wendy's every day. Not every day,
you were
but
keeping them alive.
It felt like it. And they were doing great deals on their app. So they kept doing stuff where they're like, sandwiches free if you buy anything else. And I was like, 79-cent drink plus sandwich.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But they're saying most people who were staying completely at home, who didn't have a job that still kept them going out, just stopped going for breakfast.
Stop going for breakfast. Most of my friends were even up before noon.
Exactly. So they were done and didn't have
lunch.
Breakfast by then.
They were doing fourth meal, but that was actual dinner.
So I don't know what that means for the future. McDonald's again had stopped selling breakfast the rest of the part of the day.
Yeah.
They've already condensed stuff down, taking things off their menu. Taco Bell took a bunch of stuff off their menu.
Anything involving potatoes.
Everything has been scaled back down, so it's a faster experience, mostly for a lot of delivery, honestly.
Well, you know what? Here's what I don't want to see happen. I don't want Wendy's to take breakfast away again.
This wasn't even about Wendy's, though. It was about McDonald's.
I don't care. Listen, if McDonald's...
You don't want it to go away.
If McDonald's is out there doing interviews saying that breakfast is rough, then Wendy's cannot be doing any better. And I'll tell you why. They're more expensive than McDonald's for breakfast.
I know, and it was newer for a lot of people since it came back.
And I'll tell you this right now. It's worth it. It's worth paying.
People aren't getting up, though.
You know what? I'm going to Wendy's for breakfast today. I'm going to figure it out.
You're just going to make it happen.
What do I have to do to get me in a Wendy's breakfast sandwich today?
So that if fast food restaurant breakfast is your thing, then that will not probably grow anymore in the future.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
Listen, when I tell you that God cares about your life, that Jesus wants to get involved in all of it, I'm not just saying that. That's something that is like a real deal part of my day. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, I got in a verbal altercation with someone on the phone when trying to cancel something.
Oh, really?
Remember yesterday was cancel day?
Oh, it went and down
remember
south.
how you were able to cancel something over the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, not me.
Aww.
Of course.
Aw.
And so I called.
It escalated.
It did escalate. And you know what? I can honestly say I'm not sure who escalated it because there was a tone which...
Could have been there, maybe not.
Then, there was a response, then there was a tone. And so it escalated. And I finally got an answer, got off the phone, and I was like, a little perturbed, but whatever. I was like, I'm going to get what I want.
Sure.
And I was sitting there, and man, like I said, relationship with God. Now, that means that I get to talk to God about what I want to talk about, but sometimes God comes and talks to me about the things he wants to talk about. And do you know that as much as Jesus loves me, he also loved the guy on the other end of the phone, which is ridiculous because I'm obviously better than him. And so God was like, you know what? You need to call him back and apologize. And here was my answer to that. He didn't know who I was. It doesn't matter. That's my response.
That's what you thought with
there's
it?
Nobody, they can't tie that to me.
To Obadiah.
So it doesn't matter because whatever. And besides, that guy had it coming. And I just felt like I was like, you need to go and apologize. Now, Nikki's been present for me doing this. But I'm telling you, God will just be like, hey,
you got to go back and apologize.
You need to go make that right with that person. And so I just called him back and I was like, hey, it had been probably about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you know what? I just called. I was rude to you on the phone. I want to apologize to you. You tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do the thing that you're asking me to do.
That's really nice.
And I just did it. And, the person thanked me and whatever. You're like, boy, no, this is not about me, but this is about me. I want you to understand that God cares about you and the people around you. And so when we are willing to invite God into our life and even more so do the things that he wants us to do, I mean, in reality, God probably would have preferred that I was kind the first time, right? But God comes in and says, hey, you need to go back and make this thing right. You know what? It's not always easy, but can't you see how awesome God is in that? That God cares about me, but he also cares about the people I interact with. and he wants me to treat them with love and respect. And I feel like if more of us in the world were willing to do things God's way, if we were willing to invite God into our life, I really do think we can have a better world, not just for us, but for the people that we come in contact with every day. Because Jesus loves you, but he also loves the person in the car in front of you, the person in the drive-through window. Like, God cares about us as individuals and as a whole. So listen, if you don't have a relationship with God, know that you're loved very much. And if people have been a jerk to you, I'm sorry. For all the jerks in the world, let me apologize. We're terrible people. We're also loved by God, but boy, do we have mouths, right? Don't let us stand in the way of you getting to know God and how much he loves you, period. Just say, Jesus, I want that. I want my life to be better. I want the world to be better. I want you to come in. I want you to forgive me and show me how to live so I can do things your way. Man, it's a great place to start. I'm not saying you're going to be perfect, but God's going to show you how to do things differently and sometimes make things right.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
If you started the coffee, it's probably ready. If you haven't started it yet,
then you can make it. But if not, it's sitting there waiting. It's been a while.
You need to go start it, because if you don't start it, it's not going to be there for you. You don't.
Well, that's a life lesson. So
I'm just telling you, you don't want to end up in circumstances.
Is yours ready? Did you bring it in?
It's right here.
Okay, you're good.
It's just cooling down just a little bit. It's no big deal. You know, a little while ago, we were talking about the need to get the right mask for this fall because, you know, it communicates things about you. And so Nikki and I began looking at some novelty masks, obviously for our, not for our mains. I mean, our main mask is going to be the RadioU mask, duh.
That's a given.
But, you know, you get a secondary. You got to have one waiting in the wings, backup while your main is being washed.
Well, we got sent a ton of these, white ones that we can use, too. But then those really look like...
It looks like you just have underwear on your face.
So I either have to, I wanted to tie-dye them or do something to make them not look so much like that. But if not, you just have to buy some other ones.
Now, here's the thing that you just couldn't make me care about this. Apparently, there are quite a few designers out there that are making, masks, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and you want to have a designer face mask. And
but
you know what that
don't want
means?
to pay designer prices.
There is apparently a real run on counterfeit designer masks.
Well, that was just bound to happen.
I have two words for you. Shut and up. That's all. I
want to know what an actual designer face mask, what's the price? Are they a couple hundred? Are they $1,000? How much is a face mask then?
Let's see.
Compared to what would the price be for a copycat one, a counterfeit?
I don't know. One of the things that they are saying is I'm not sure that are there real ones?
Yeah, some are making them.
Okay.
Yeah, some are making custom ones too.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't have.
Say for Louis Vuitton, some of them cut up old bags and stuff
and
make
their
things.
Own?
Yeah, they make clothes and stuff out of them. So technically, it might not be an official one, but it is a official product. It's used from their stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking for me, what's the RadioU mask cost?
$8. Look at that. Do you see how affordable it is?
And you know what I can tell you right now? It's not a knockoff.
It's comfortable.
It's real.
But for these, they must be more. Even the counterfeit one would be more money.
It's real.
Because a counterfeit at least has to look enough like it and still be priced so that you just wonder.
Yeah, that's true, right? That's true. I'm maybe going to spend the $12 to get the other logoed mask. I spent $15 on a red one, though. You know what? I can't find it.
Oh, you lost your red mask? The band red.
Band red.
It's theirs.
Yeah, I cannot find that mask.
Aww.
I don't know what happened to it. So maybe somebody ate it.
Is it in your car? Is it underneath the car seat?
It could be. It's black, and so is the interior of my car.
It'll just disappear?
That could be a thing. But, hey, I just want to put a little note out there for you. Beware fake designer masks, because the last thing you want to do is be caught wearing a fake one.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then they're worse. They're always worse. It's The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, how's your supply of Clorox wipes? Is it strong?
No, I always just bought other cleaners, but here we have to have the Clorox
Disposable wipes.
We have to have disposable wipes, and it is still tough to find sometimes when you actually need to find them. So they're still tough to find.
The Clorox people are like, yeah, 2021.
Oh, until the supply is like back to normal.
They say that basically they just continue to fly off the shelves.
Everybody just grabs them.
They cannot keep them in.
Is it people still grab? Well, they limit it now, but back in the beginning, everybody was just buying so many of them and hoarding them, which was causing an issue for people who wanted to spread them out so we could all have them.
Man, I ended up buying some. Early days of the whatever. I'm in the store, and there was a sign that said, like, limit 2, and I was like, oh, they're limited. I got to get them.
You got to buy all 2.
So I bought them, though I will say, in retrospect, super glad I did.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't buy them after. And you know me, I like a good Clorox wipe before that's how I get up in the morning and then right before bed at night.
Well, if you still use them, it's hard. You have to find, there's alternatives to Clorox wipes. So like, put in another brand.
I ended up with a Kirkland brand.
At least for us here, every time we find one, our engineer guy who's kind of in charge of making sure we're following all the rules with it is like, yeah, it's not it. Like, it doesn't have all the stuff that you're supposed to have in it.
It's true.
So, like, most of them are not compliant with what you're actually looking for.
You're out looking at Clorox and...
You're just wrong. You picked the wrong one.
Chris is like, man, Physoderma Hexa gone.
Every time
if it doesn't have this, then it ain't it.
You find a hand sanitizer, he's like, that's not it. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find one.
Yeah, it's true. Well, and then there's the CDC or whoever put out that list of like, you don't want ones that contain these ingredients. And after a while, it's just like, I don't even know.
Don't even know what you're supposed to get.
And then I saw somebody the other day with, honestly, it looked like one of those huge like bottle of vodka things, and instead it was hand sanitizer.
Oh,
and I'm like, what are we even doing?
Well, you're
just get me
refilling.
out.
That's all you're doing.
What are we doing? We got something in the kitchen I saw that's like 75% alcohol. And I'm like, dude, that's going to burn my hand right off.
But it needs to have it.
I get it.
Why aren't people just pouring alcohol on stuff then?
I'm just going to have like a very clean stump to wave around when this is over.
The issue is, again, at least at work, it's taking the stuff off the tables. Like finish. It's taking the finish off of stuff because we have to stay.
Good. That means it's working.
Well, yeah, we have to clean like after every shift and, really take the time to make sure we're in a safe environment. But man, it is taking the stuff off of our equipment. So it's a byproduct of that we did not know was going to happen.
We probably needed a new one anyway.
I know. So that's why when you touch a table, sometimes you're like, what happened? It's like it's been wiped off.
Listen, it's clean, okay?
It is. Then that is the number one most important thing.
It's clean.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
We're about to get super mature as we discuss a phrase that I don't believe I've heard before, but it's something that could affect all of us.
What's the phrase?
Public toilet anxiety.
Oh, that's something. You don't want to use a public restroom.
You don't want to go,
I have like gas station anxiety. Like I don't want to use a gas station one.
I thought you were just telling me I have gas.
Nope, no, that's not what we were saying at all. I think I want to go back and edit that. Just leave it at that. Do not do that. Hudson, don't you do that either.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, it's, when you're like on a road trip or you're traveling or you're not close to home and all there is a gas station.
My friend Brad, he practices what he calls the HTA. He says that we all have it. That's the home toilet advantage.
If you're close enough to the house.
Yeah, he says that you just in general have a real advantage if you are at your home toilet.
Now, I will say some gas stations almost moonlight like a casino, like they're bright and beautiful.
That is true.
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the other ones where they're like a hut and it's on the outside. It's not even inside. It's bad. So
it's also true.
But that's a thing, I'm sure.
All right. So apparently Kim Jong Un, Nikki, you're familiar with him as leader of Best Korea.
Of North Korea?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well,
Does he have it?
No. And that's
because he supposedly eats a lot of cheese. Do you remember that?
Yes.
People say that about him.
They say he had to be sent to a special clinic to be cured of his cheese addiction.
He loves like Swiss cheese, no joke. Now, you won't get that in other news sources, just to let you know.
I mean, it's technically still a rumor, but,
No, I think
when there's enough smoke, you start thinking there's probably a fire.
When there's enough smoke, there's cheese. So, there
smoked cheddar?
Yeah, there totally is.
But they, according to the Mirror, keep in mind the source is important. They say that Kim Jong Un does not have public toilet anxiety, but he travels with his own toilet because they don't want, you're going to be so glad I told you this. They don't want his feces to fall into the wrong hands.
Oh, gosh, don't do that word.
Because people could analyze that. And they could analyze it
and
for
see
his
that
health
he eats
status.
Cheese.
They're like, my God, this is just a block
it all
of
goes
cheese.
back to that.
It's just a block of cheese.
Well, I thought you were going to say like they were worried he'd be killed or something if he used a public toilet.
No, supposedly he
How do you travel with a toilet, though? Are you talking like...
I don't know.
Do you put a hole and then put the toilet on top of it, or what do you do?
I don't know. And apparently he has...
it hurts my head.
He has he has private bathrooms everywhere, and you are... Now, is this true? They say that a bodyguard of his has said that anyone that uses one of his toilets could be sentenced to death. That actually seems reasonable because... I mean, from what I can tell, that's common enough there.
Things don't make sense there.
Yeah, so...
All right, well, I've never heard this.
Yeah, so listen, it's not public toilet anxiety, and don't you say that about the leader. He just, even his feces is so important to the state.
So gross.
It has to be treated with great respect.
So gross.
Riot with Obadiah and Nikki on RadioU.
I think it's great that we have variety. Like when we go to buy something, you can choose from things. But I feel like I've just wandered down the toothpaste aisle again where, when's the last time you went into a store and bought toothpaste? There are 100 million options. So I went to Amazon to buy a bike pump.
Yeah. Are there that many options?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
A lot are probably just around the same thing, too. It's just different sellers.
They got different colors.
Well, you got options.
They got stuff, Nikki. So much stuff.
You going to find one? Or?
Well, yeah, I want to get one, but it's a lot of pressure now.
What was the one site when you're supposed to check the reviews? Do you remember?
Choose Fake Spot.
Yeah, you're supposed to see, because sometimes with things that are around that level price-wise, probably you can get a lot of the fake reviews.
So, here's one that it looks pretty good, and look at that, it's got a gauge on it, so that way I'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
What the level
Can't
is.
you just use, so instead of bike pump, can't you just use your air tire filler thing?
Yeah, that thing that I bought 3 of, and it breaks every time.
Oh, I see.
That's why I'm here now. And I actually thought, I'll buy another air station. And I was like, no, we won't.
We're not doing that again.
We're not
Yours really breaks that often?
No. Yeah. And you're like, because you're using it so much? No, it just doesn't work.
Well, we needed to check the reviews on that more than this bike pump.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, Nikki, Fake Spot, that's weird now. Now they're like, download the Chrome extension.
No, thank you.
Yeah, can't you just search it on the website? And now they want to sell,
They got too big. It's fine. Never mind.
It's a whole thing now. They had something great.
It was more organic, and now it's ruined.
So, okay, here, finally, 2 clicks in, I found what I'm looking for. Oh, Fake Spot review grade. This gets a C.
Not too good.
So
it's fine, though. Just find something that's the best that you can.
Hey, how much do you want to spend on a bike pump? Because, dude, we can go
$20, $30.
Nikki, what is that? Like what the poor people buy?
Is there an Amazon Basics bike pump?
There should be.
If not, what can we do that's close enough to that?
Wouldn't you like to have the Ergon X1000?
Not really.
Only $45. Wow, it's so nice.
So Andy said, if you're looking for a good, cheap tire pump, we bought a RIOT handheld compressor, $7, and it works if you have RIOT batteries as well.
I don't have any RIOT batteries, but that sounds interesting.
So look into that.
Compressor.
$7, okay. That'll work.
Let's get to work on that.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. the worst of the Riot podcast.
I love this so much. I haven't even read the whole story yet. Nikki just sent me this tale of Angel Martinez, 14 years old, who took his dad's Range Rover out for a spin on Saturday.
Basically, they said he was washing the car and didn't really have anything to dry it. So he decided to go spin it around the blocks a few times to air dry it off after he was done washing it.
Mm-hmm.
Only issue is he's 14, so he didn't even have a license.
Oh, yeah. And
that was his parents' Range Rover.
He was, and I quote, speeding.
Yeah.
And so his parents were like, no problem. We'll just go ahead and give away all your stuff.
So they emptied his bedroom and put it outside their house for people to take.
And yes, people could just take it. His, and I quote, designer sneakers, his flat screen TV.
His bed.
And his bed, which, okay, seriously? Like
they set up his bedroom right outside the house.
I know.
So it really looks very clever.
But look at how nice his bed is.
I know. That's why they're giving it away.
It's a lot nicer than mine.
You didn't have that at 14? Did you not? Did you not have a matching set until?
No. And in fact, like, I think my entire childhood, I had like my uncle's old bed. I slept on that all the way until what? Like I moved out for college. Well, and then, man, if you want to talk about hand-me-down beds, welcome to the college experience.
You could have gone to this place and grabbed this one.
I should have. I wish I had that address. I'd go pick it up.
They made a really good point. You're like, oh, that's, one side of thing, people are like, oh, how could you do that as parents? But then on the other side, he was only 14, didn't have a license, was speeding, and they made the point that he could have killed somebody and seriously injured or killed himself as well. So they thought drastic measures. So he'll just be sleeping on the couch, they said, for quite some time. And not having any of his stuff. So he says he's learned a lesson and that, honestly, taking all of his stuff made him really reevaluate his choice that he made.
Dude.
Never did anything like that. I mean, that's super dangerous.
No, that's pretty intense right there. No, like my mom let me drive when I think I was 13 or 14. We were out in the middle of nowhere. That was it. So I mean, maybe
this is by himself on the road. Yeah,
we weren't on the road.
At 14, I would have been not even aware of like how to drive. But maybe I don't know.
No, I mean, you probably played enough Mario Kart by then to get a general idea.
Yeah, that's true.
As to how it works.
He took it, so his stuff is gone. They didn't show pictures of people like taking the stuff away.
That's what I want to know.
So did people take stuff away, or what was this a teachable moment until a certain point, and then they let him have his stuff? I don't know.
No, I think I think if I would have known, I'd absolutely. I would just been like,
hey, thanks.
You guys are really giving this away? All right, could you get out of the bed, please?
Because I'm going to take it all.
Yeah, I'm taking this.
So he's learned a lesson, and you should not be taking the Range Rover out when you're 14.
Hey, bro, let me get your cell phone number because I want to send you pictures of me enjoying your stuff.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
Do you remember how we had that Kim Jong Un story a little while ago about how he doesn't have public toilet anxiety?
Allegedly, they're saying that there's people that carry around his toilets so that if he's in public somewhere, he can use that and not like a public toilet.
Okay.
He's got his own.
This very same organization responsible for this in-depth reporting. They're really going for it, Nikki. How about this one? They say that there is a girl. Her name is Laura Arbor. And this is, of course, this is still in the UK. That's supposedly choked on.
Why is that super gross to me? Why? It's not as bad as like a bug, but why? Yeah, look at the picture. Don't look at the picture. It's so cold. I hate when you get shivers. It's so gross. Just tell the story.
I can't. You're going to throw up in that can. I can't tell the story.
I just can't think about it. Okay. I don't know why it's so bad. I don't know why.
Of all the things we've looked at, why is this affecting you so deeply?
Because I feel like you can really choke on it. Like you can really choke. It's a face mask that's in the chicken nugget.
Legit, my stomach is starting to hurt. Oh my God.
You think that's photoshopped?
Okay,
Don't
you guys
wanna
don't
look at
even
it.
know. This is a a face mask.
The blue ones.
The blue ones.
blue ones.
Your face mask that supposedly this girl found deep fried inside a chicken nugget, and she began choking on it because, well, there was
it's a face mask. It's
there's
like
a
part
face
of it.
mask in her chicken nugget. Do you think it's real?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I already thought, we already have enough things.
But the thing is, that means, because the chicken nugget comes all the way from the factory. They're not making that at McDonald's.
No, it would have to have been a factory thing.
Yeah, kind of like Hudson's Band-Aid in his crab rangoon.
Hudson found a Band-Aid, not his, in the stuffing in a crab rangoon at the restaurant.
Which one? Okay, here we go. This is the important question. Would you rather find a face mask in your chicken nugget or a Band-Aid in your crab rangoon?
Why do we have to have any? Why do we have to have stuff in there?
Because, Nikki, this is the kind of world we live in.
But I'm having a hard time really picking this one, aren't I? Anybody? What does everybody else think?
I think that I would... I'll tell you my logic here is I think I'd rather have the face mask in my chicken nugget for two reasons.
But it's right there.
The thing is, the one, I'm eating chicken nuggets, so at least I was happy when it happened.
Sure.
So there's that. And then
I like crab rangoon, though. I'd be happy with that.
Two, if you gave me the option of kissing a stranger or sucking on their bloody finger, I would go ahead and kiss them.
Well,
and so
a Band-Aid means there was a problem.
Right.
And it needed help.
Right.
So that means I think infection. So when I see the crab rangoon, I don't like that because that meant there was a problem. The face mask is just so close. That's private.
Like I said,
personal.
No, I'm just telling you, I would kiss you before I'd lick your bloody finger. So
well, there we're at. So
that's my logic.
Adam said a whole face mask. It's not a whole face mask.
It doesn't seem like it seems like a part of one.
It's just a part of it.
Yeah. So I think I don't know this, but my guess is they'll probably get a free packet of chicken nuggets as a result.
Oh, I hope it's from the same batch. Good.
She says that there were parts of a face mask in at least 2 of the 20 nuggets. And man, look at you, big spender, a 20-piece.
Ooh, well, now that's really affordable.
Nice.
And I guess it's following rules where it's wearing a face mask. The chicken nugget.
McDonald's is like, you should applaud our workers.
Yeah, they're following. No, not even that. The food is following the rules.
Fantastic.
Oh,
our chickens wear face masks.
So bad to think about.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
So schools are trying to get started, right? We're trying to fire that up around the United States. Man, okay. This is probably not true. This is just in my heart.
Oh, your feelings?
I feel like we are either in the middle of or right on the verge of the level of craziness that, where this all started. You know how...
Oh, back at the start of quarantine?
Yep.
Didn't you were saying you felt anxious, it's just going to all happen again?
I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to say to myself, hey, you know what? Let's believe the best. Let's get out there and be positive.
But not too out there.
And let's not do that. Let's wear our mask out there and maybe in here. Okay? But yeah, I keep feeling like I'm just waiting on it.
Well, it's because it's hard. Everyone's so vocal about it right now.
Yes.
And everyone's angry, whether one side or the other. And then while everyone else, you still see having these parties, and it's ruining it.
Don't get me started on that.
You just see it everywhere. But literally every single place across the country. But, it is what it is.
Today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in Atlanta, Cherokee County in Georgia.
Cherokee County.
Yeah, in Cherokee County. They started up and they have...
A school did?
Yes. So on the second day of school, the teacher brought to me 1 case of COVID.
Or was it the student who brought it?
Well, whoever it was, they had a student in that classroom that tested positive. And so they have to quarantine the classroom. Every student. Now, it's interesting. The rest of the school is going to keep going.
But it's by the classroom?
That classroom has to quarantine for 2 weeks. They have to switch to distance learning, and that includes the teacher. Mm-hmm. And then after 14 days,
so
they will be allowed to. I think they may also have to be tested Oh,
yeah, I think they do. Because if you're positive, you need to, for some cases when you come back, you have to have sometimes 2 negative tests. So you have to wait in between all that.
So we don't actually know what they're requiring for them to come back.
It's a different
But we
state.
know that it's at least 14 days they have to wait.
So I guess that's my question. So if they're saying this student came back and it was like on the second day, so obviously the student or he or she brought it in because you would have had to have had it beforehand. So does that mean the student had been tested before going to school or had to get tested after the second day? Because testing takes, depending on where you're getting it, quite a few days
2 to
to get
7
back.
days. Yeah. I don't have an answer for that.
So I'm curious about the timeline of this, of like, did someone have them tested, but they still went to school anyways? I don't know.
You know what I don't have, and maybe I should have done some more digging, but they have not been super forthcoming from what I can see about how they figured out this one student had COVID. I don't know.
We must have had symptoms.
How it was. Well, maybe not. Nikki, it's a made-up virus, so there's no symptoms.
Stop it. Will you stop it? You
That's what my friend on Facebook said.
Stop it.
I read it on the internet. It must be true.
Here he goes. He's just teasing you guys.
Cherokee County's trying to shut down the schools to keep the... Whatever.
Stop adding to these stories.
No, I know it's ridiculous, but that we don't know why that student ended up getting tested and finding out. But
I think that's why with schools, that if your school is going back or if you have classes for anything, they're trying to really contain you to the classroom.
yes.
That's the important thing. So nothing else.
And I saw in Ohio, where lots of RadioU lives, they are requiring face masks. It's a state mandate in all classrooms, K through 12. Those preschoolers, what are they doing?
They can't do it. We can barely keep it on like without fidgeting. Imagine a little kid.
So what, preschoolers just do what you want? That's what I want. Take me back.
Take you back to it?
Yeah. I'm in.
Wait, I'm touching my face while we're talking about
Way
that.
to go, Nikki. Way to go.
I know better.
Unclean.
The Riot. Radio U.
Now, Nikki, this feels like a completely made up statistic from Nowheresville, but someone has tweeted it, and I want to get your take on it.
Yeah, what is it?
52% of women judge a man by his shoes.
By his shoes?
By his shoes.
Judge like if you would like him or not? Or
It doesn't say. It just says judge a man by his shoes. So, I mean...
No, I don't think so.
Well, but maybe you're part of part of the 48%.
I think so, because I'm not into like sneaker culture, so I don't really look at shoes. So probably
but that's
not.
the question. Like, how much do you think a person's shoes communicates about them, though?
I'm into, it doesn't matter if it's affordable deals or a name brand. If like you can still have inexpensive shoes that look good. So I wouldn't know enough on if it is like an expensive one.
But see, what you're saying right now is communicating a lot about you, because if you were going to judge a man by his shoes, even though you say you're not judging by his brand, it's the first thing you thought of when judging his shoes.
No, I judge it more based on how it looks, but not on if it has a name brand attached to it.
So for you, you're saying, no, it's cleanliness. Overall appearance of shoe versus brand of shoe.
Yeah, like if they look nicer, it doesn't mean they have to cost a whole lot of money.
Okay, but does a clean shoe communicate something to you?
Yeah, I guess so, but not as much as maybe other things would.
Okay. So what other things?
I don't know what those other things would be.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I have noticed that I have a tendency to notice shoes.
You do?
A lot of times, but I feel like certain kinds of shoes communicate some personality more than, but it's not a brand and it's not even necessarily a color. It's just that sometimes you will see shoes and think, their shoes are standing out, and it's not an accident.
Well, Olivia texted, said, totally, and I judge hard on New Balance. I don't know why, but I always think of dad shoes when I see them on someone who's not an older person.
Well, I'll tell you.
So Olivia's in on that.
I did a running shoes, a New Balance running shoe.
Yeah.
One of the worst mistakes I've ever made.
Oh, you never liked it?
No, not good. That I tried a Saucony, also bad. Sorry, where were we?
That's okay.
What about women, though? Do you judge women's shoes?
I appreciate them, but I don't judge them if I don't like them. But
so you just think, those just aren't for me?
No, I just only notice if I think, those look nice, like I like them.
Look at how big her feet are.
No woman wants any of that. Don't say that. Let's not tease. that can change the whole day.
I immediately went there because I knew it was deeply affecting.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Yeah. Whereas when a guy's got like a size 13 shoe, people are like, yeah!
And, hey, I guess I used to be like that with Crocs until a generous
Now
listener
you have some.
bought me a pair of them, and I recognize how fantastically comfortable they are.
Yeah.
It's still a bold shoe to wear, a very bold shoe, but I appreciate the comfort. But I used to really notice, like, if someone would just throw them on and go out. And, they'd all have different looks to them.
Crocs are the sweatpants for your feet.
Yeah, pretty much. But now you know why. They're comfortable.
Okay. So, Nikki, you're saying not so much on the shoe judging. Olivia's saying absolutely on the shoe judging.
She's judging hard on that.
Which statistically, that makes sense. 52%, 48%, we're half and half.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Looking at an article about... Of course, it's all Corona all the time, right? But this is about in Lincoln, Nebraska. There's a server that tweeted something that's kind of gotten picked up, and a lot of people are talking about it.
At a restaurant, or?
Yes. And that is people that are like basically tipping less with little notes saying, you need to get rid of the masks, and then we'll tip more.
Oh, don't do that. As if it's the server's thing to even say. Oh.
Right. That's the part that kills me. So they tip this server a nickel.
Yeah. Oh.
And it says, get rid of masks, tips will be bigger. But like that's on them.
If you want to make a statement, then just don't go to the restaurant. But you're not even helping with that.
No, that.
Actually, if you really want to know, you should be tipping more when you go in. Because if you haven't been, I went to a restaurant yesterday. It was so sad, like how few people.
Right.
And this place used to be always crazy busy.
Hopping.
And the fact that there was so few people in there, if you're a server, you're getting tips. But if people are doing carry-out orders and stuff, they're not getting tips at that point. So you should give a little extra if you can, if you're going in, because that's tough.
It is tough. And Nikki.
Not a nickel.
That's kind of why this person tweeted this out. But it has been a lot of servers have been responding saying like, yeah, same thing. Samesies.
Yeah.
Samesies. That people are kind of, and that's the thing I feel like we have to all be really careful about. I mean, I talked about it earlier in the show where I had a moment where some of my frustration came spilling out onto someone that did not deserve my frustration.
I mean, where we should be directing the anger if you are angry?
Right. There's nothing wrong with being angry, but forcing someone else to pay the tab on your anger is not fair because a lot of times we get angry. We get angry at people who are convenient to be angry at, and the people that are conveniently bearing our anger seldom are the ones that deserve it. Mm-hmm. And so we got to be careful with that. Like the person that, came into work and brought your food to you. Yeah.
And had to go through a lot of extra steps during this time as well just to get it to you.
Maybe not.
Don't be that way, guys.
It's sad.
We know better than that.
Come on.
You know what? Even if you never should make a statement like that. I mean, that's not what we do. Even when before all the COVID stuff and you had a terrible, horrible server and the temptation to just leave a note and tip like nothing, you're still supposed to be better than that. And you don't know what everybody's going through and just tip what you're supposed to tip.
Nick says they're just cheapskates that are happy to find what feels like a valid excuse to be cheap.
That's a good point there, too. But
could be something to that.
We're not doing that, right, guys? None of us are. And if you can tip a little extra, this is a good time to do that. If we can be helping people.
A good time to give? Is that what you're saying, Nikki?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I like that.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
I've just turned into this bitter old man.